For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure here with Dan Weber. Instant analysis of fall camp practice number 16, almost to the end of fall camp. We thought it was going to be a lighter practice today, and it turned out to be a pretty substantial long practice.
Yeah, I thought maybe it would be a typical, game week Thursday, which is pretty tapered off. They came out, no pads, just the shells and helmets. But they went long, and it actually picked up steam. By the end, they were real competitive in 7-on-7 in the red zone, real competitive in 11-on-11, where they were going situations where they'd give them a minute 29 and, they were down 5, that kind of thing, and ran 2-point extra points and all that kind of stuff. So it just kept going and going, and it kept picking up steam. So that was kind of a good thing. I like the way they did it. We thought they would get out of here. That'll be, I guess, tomorrow. And then, there's always people here over our shoulder. You're seeing Sam doing another one of his 10,000 interviews with former USC assistant NFL coach Norv Turner for the NFL Network. So it's just, and he also talking to Clay at the same time. But and we were talking after practice to Sam about his Season of Sam podcast with Yogi Roth, and they tried to get him to say, the ad says all kinds of stuff that people don't know about Sam and the inner workings, and he said, you're going to have to watch it. He said, you have some really good guests. Yeah, really, really big, special people. Who? Can you just tell? You're going to have to watch. So Sam's good at promoting his own podcast.
Mm-hmm. We got to talk to the offense today, and there's a lot of talk about kind of the tech savviness on this team, if you will. Dylan McCullough, the running back coach, has special drills he does, a ball that's connected to a string that he pulls, and then T. Martin, who Helton called the most tech-savvy, complete coach he's been around, has a little app that he likes to use with the players.
Yeah, they just got it this week, and I guess T said, this is not a pen and paper generation. They're not going to be taking notes, and even if they do that, how much good do you get out of it? He said this is a thumb generation. So he came up with an app where he can go on and they can go on real time, where he asks them, questions about the offense or about what would you do here, what would you do there, and he can see in real time how long it's taking them to answer them, if they get them right or wrong. He's also on there. He said they have a deal where they're competing with one another for points and all that. We were just talking to Daniel Ahmad, her baby, a tight end. I said, you on it yet? No, but I'm going to be on it tonight. I'm getting on my brother's tonight. So it's kind of the new thing that's hit camp this week. It's kind of cool. Good idea by T. Martin.
Mm-hmm. We saw a lot of Stephen Mitchell today. He had at least 2 touchdowns, a very good day for him, and first-team reps, which we haven't normally seen from him.
He's been edging into that spot, but because it looked like that was going to be the Tyler Vaughn spot. But Stephen Mitchell is becoming that really dependable guy that you always felt he could be if he got the chance, if he was healthy, all of that. He's got all that, all those years of experience. He's got, physicality. And today, Sam was looking for him and was finding him, and probably his best practice maybe ever at USC. So that was great to see coming off that second knee surgery. Really good time for him to step up, and he's really stepped up this week.
Yeah, with a young wide receiving group that they have, how valuable is his experience?
Oh yeah, and they're lucky. Jalen Green has got a lot of experience, but not necessarily at wide receiver. So they've got 2 kind of experienced guys, and of course with Deontay. So they actually aren't as young. They maybe not as big and strong as some people would like. And you've got Jody Lewis and Joshua Mater-Baby and Michael Pittman when he gets healthy. Giving them the big, and Randall Grimes made some plays today, giving them those big guys. But they're going, for the experience, the leaders, the kind of guys that have been around. If they show they're capable of doing what they want them to do, and I thought Jalen also made some good plays today, and those 2 veterans are getting their chance.
Yeah, we for the second time today, we saw, this week, we saw Helton throw to Daniel Imatorbhebhe. Helton said he's getting closer, real close, he said, but they're going to wait till next week. They really want to take their time with Daniel.
Yeah.
And you got to talk to him today.
Yeah, I mean, he said, I said, what's it like to be out there with a head coach throwing you the football? And he said, yeah, I mean, he said, that's just the kind of guy he is. And he really wants to, and it makes sense because everybody else is kind of tied up at some of those points, and Clay, is available. So, and he was a quarterback, and it gives him, I think, a chance to really measure where Daniel is, and gives Daniel a chance to get that kind of, running one pattern after another. His hands look really good. His cuts look really good. Doesn't quite have that explosiveness yet, but he's very confident that he'll have it by next week. He said, I re-aggravated it in the summer, came back pretty quickly. He said, I think it's going to do, the same this time. But he does. He said he could play if they were playing a game this week. He said he could play, and my comment was he'd just be another slow tight end if he played this week. And he laughed and said, "No, I think if we played, I'd be a fast tight end. So we'll see." But he's getting there.
It's kind of business as usual. It's kind of leading up to Saturday's scrimmage. Even Helton's scrum today was a couple questions, not really much to talk about. I think one of the more interesting parts of practice was the quarterback drill with the trash cans, and they're trying to get it in the corner of the end zone.
Right, they did it from the 20, and then they did it from the 10. It's actually harder from the 10,
yeah. And
it's just harder to get that, that arc on the ball that you need to have it, because they use these big yellow trash cans for a lot of different things that we haven't seen before. Dylan McCullough moves them to simulate defensive players and forces his running backs to cut off of them, things like that. So they're out here, and they decided they'll use them for the quarterbacks. But I think Sam hit a couple from the 20, and I think he hit. He and Jack were the only ones that made them. And
Fink made them too.
Who?
Fink made one.
I missed that one then. Okay,
yeah.
So I'm glad you stayed around, because after about the first 7 times around the quarterbacks, I kind of wandered off. So I'll have to adjust my my ghost notes. So Fink made one too. But it was surprising how much harder it seemed to drop the ball in from the 10-yard line. It's a 20-yard pass than it was from the 20. So it was hard. That was guys would go 4 straight and just kind of shake their head like, man, that's hard.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward. Tomorrow will be basically a very light practice, kind of walkthroughs, normal Friday. Sunday, this 10:30 a.m. scrimmage in the Coliseum, which will be big and kind of the cap of fall camp. And then next week, they'll start actually game prepping and have a mock game week.
Right. They're kind of in, they don't say it, but they're kind of in mock game this week. But, everything is building to Saturday. And then, and I think I like the way they've done that, although they added the little heavy work in the Coliseum. So they're going to get 2 times in the Coliseum this week, which is a good thing. Then they won't be in the Coliseum the next 2 weeks, and then they're there, for the Western Michigan game. But I think this is building, the right way. And I think it gets them. I think a few years ago we counted, there were like 14 different starting times for, fall camp. And everything from early in the morning till late at night. Now, once you get into the season, you're going to have some of that. But I think the ability to get this thing regularized, and, the first 3 games that they do know the starting times are 2:15 and then 2 5:30 games. So they're kind of, they're going to be sort of afternoon games. And so that's how basically all the practices are. So I think, they've done a good job, I think, of getting them into the mindset of this is how it's going to be during the season.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's going to wrap it up for day 16 of fall camp. For Dan Weber, I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.